Before we start, I want you to imagine that your entire life is a game with rules that no one told you about, a game you have been playing since the day you were born and will continue to play even after the body drops. And today, I'm going to reveal these rules exactly as Neville Goddard taught them. Because the moment you understand this, your mood, your imagination, and your inner conversation, you will stop running on autopilot and will start shaping your reality with intention. So this is not a trendy manifestation. This is the game of life, according to Neville Goddard. And once you learn these rules, you will never live the same way again. But the real question is this: if life is truly a game, then what is the one invisible move that flips the entire board of life in your favor? So keep listening, because once you hear it, you will never see your life the same again. Hi, this is Avit Bansal. I'm an author and a life coach in the art of conscious living. I have made myself available here with just one simple intention: to spread the right awareness about the phenomena of life, what people call as manifestation. In upcoming few minutes, I'm going to reveal three things. First, Neville's original Game of Life lecture summary, a life-changing lecture from 7th March 1969. Second, the exact rule of Game of Life, that 99% of the people actually misunderstands it. Third, how to apply it, the rule of game, the game of rule, everything, so your desire becomes a fact, not a struggle. And at the very end, I will share a core rule of the game of life, a rule so powerful when you apply it, it will help you master your manifestations and bring your deepest desires into reality. So stay with me. In the 1969 lecture of Neville Goddard, in the Game of Life, Neville reminds us that just like any other game, there are rules. And the rule of this game aren't about the outer world at all. They are completely about the inner world. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your assumptions, and your moods, none of these are insignificant. They are the very moves you make in the board of life. So Neville quotes scriptures, and it says, "Even in your thought, do not curse the king, for a bird will carry your voice." It's a poetic way of saying there's no such thing as private thoughts. Everything you entertain within yourself sends out a signal, a vibration, a message to the unseen. Your inner conversations eventually become your outer circumstances. And the referee of this game, that is your awareness, the lamp of Lord is within you, which never misses a single thought or mood. So every inner state is recorded. And by the law of life, it must express itself in the world. And this is the first and greatest rule of game. And that is, what you sustain within, you will meet without. So Neville gives us what is perhaps the clearest and most powerful instruction ever spoken on manifestation. It says, whatever you desire, believe you have received it and you will. This is the core rule of Game of Life. It must be played from the end, not from the questions of our logical mind, which loves to ask like questions: how it will happen, when it will come, why is it taking so long? None of these matter in the realm of creation. The only thing that matters is the end state, the feeling of already being or having what you desire. So Neville invites us to pause and ask, what do I truly want? What do you truly want? And what would be the feeling like if it is already present in my life, in my reality? And when you catch that feeling, the mood, and you begin to live from it, something magical happens. Your inner world becomes the seed of your outer world. As Neville beautifully says, "In my end is my beginning." So creation starts where you finish, in the consciousness itself. Then Neville in this lecture breaks down a verse that is widely misunderstood. And it says, "Cast your bread upon the waters and you will find it." So most people assume this means to do good deeds, give charities, or perform acts of kindness. But Neville reminds us that Bible speaks in symbolism, not literal instructions. So in this language, in symbolism language, bread represents that which you consume emotionally, your inner feeling, your energetic state. And water symbolizes the creative, imaginal substance of life, the deep consciousness where seeds are planted. So the verse is really saying, Whatever feeling you fully accept within yourself, whatever mood you become consumed by, will return to you in the world of form. Creation is not a physical action, it is a psychological intensity. Just as someone can be consumed by love, overwhelmed by anger, or burning with passion, the same intensity applied deliberately in imagination becomes the creative act. And Neville says that you will know the imaginal act is complete when you feel the subtle sense of relief, as though something is finished. At that very moment, the seed is planted, and life must bring it back to you. Neville then shares a powerful line from Winston Churchill, who says, "The mood decides the fortune of people rather than fortune decides the mood." This single sentence reveals the heart of all manifestation. Life is not shaping your mood is shaping your life. Your inner tone, the atmosphere you carry within yourself, is the true creative force. So change your mood, and your circumstances must shift in response to it. And Neville explains that everything in your world, whether it's your people, the conversations, the opportunities, and even so-called inanimate objects, will simply reorganize themselves to reflect that mood you constantly occupy. The world is simply your mood made visible, and this is why Neville says, your mood is the magic. But Neville issues a very important warning. He says, you cannot break the rules of the game of life. If you spend your day thinking negatively and expecting the worst, or internally complaining about your circumstances, you will inevitably see those same assumptions reflected in your outer world. And this is not because God punishes you or anyone, nor it is about the moral judgment. It is simply the way of life or the law of life operates. It cannot be mocked or deceived or avoided. Your inner state is seed, your outer life is harvest that naturally grows from it. Every thought you entertain, every feeling you embrace, and every mood you sustain is carefully observed by the ultimate referee. And who is this ultimate referee? It's your own consciousness. It is you. It never misses nothing. It never misses anything. Whatever you consistently hold inside of yourself, whether it's positive or negative, will eventually manifest in your life. Whether you recognize it or not, whether you like it or not, this is why awareness is your inner world. And it is the single most important skill in mastering the game of life. And that is your awareness. And then Neville shares some powerful real-life examples that clearly demonstrates how this law works in practice. And Neville shares the story of a woman who had nothing. There was a woman in her 60s living around meager income of just $75 a week before taxes and barely making ends meet. She was absolutely single, living in a very modest hotel room, and her life seemed ordinary in every way possible. But she began to put Neville's teaching into practice, and each day she affirmed with feeling. And the affirmation was, something wonderful is happening to me now. Something wonderful. She didn't know how it would happen. She lived only in the mood of its fulfillment. That said, something wonderful is happening to me right now. And within the very first week, a man she had known intimately for decades, someone who had often said to her, "I will never give you a penny," suddenly changed his mind. He set up $100,000 trust fund for her, completely detached from his estate, so that she could benefit from the income for rest of her life. Later, another $100,000 was added to the trust, giving her a total of $200,000. So she could not even spend the principal of it, only the interest, but it was more than enough to live comfortably. So this transformation did not happen because of luck, or maybe coincidence, or charity. It happened because she changed her inner mood, focused on the feeling of receiving, and persistently assumed the reality of her desire. Her outer world had no choice but to conform to the inner state she maintained. So Neville emphasizes that this story illustrates the principle, not a one-time miracle. Once she experienced the power of living in the end, she could begin to apply in every area of her life, knowing that her mood she sustained internally would inevitably produce results externally. And this is the law of life in action. The world always reflects the state of consciousness within you. And then in the next story, Neville shares a very striking story from his own audience. that beautifully illustrates the power of imagination to influence not just your own life, but the life of others. A man asked Neville Goddard to help him by imagining the fulfillment of his desire. So Neville spent about 30 minutes in intense imaginal act, fully seeing and already hearing that his friend, that particular person, he's saying to Neville that I got what I wanted. He imagined the scene as if it's like 100% real, with all the feelings of joy and satisfaction. And that very night, Neville had a vivid dream in which this person's wife appeared in the dream, thanking Neville profusely for help he had given. She had no knowledge of what Neville had done. Yet on the deeper level, she responded to the imaginal act. The next evening, while Neville was quietly listening to the music, the friend appeared in his reverie and spoke the exact word Neville had imagined, with the same joy and authority. So Neville explains that this demonstrates a key principle of creation. When an imaginal act is performed with intensity and feeling, it is cast upon the waters, like a planting a seed in fertile soil. The act must return. The results will appear in the outer world, sometimes in a way that affects not just you, but others involved in the situation. The imagination is not a private act. It is a powerful force that communicates across the unseen and bringing the inner reality to the outer manifestation. So Neville gives us perhaps the most powerful line of the entire lecture. A formula for creation that is simple yet so profound. And the formula is: the assemblage of mental states create what the assemblage implies. In other words, so when you assemble a scene in your imagination, a scene in which your desire is already fulfilled, and you fully hear it, or maybe see it, or feel it as if it is real, you are performing the real act of creation. It is not about repetition, nor about forcing it into the outer world through effort. Instead, you do it once, but with intensity, and then you just drop it. So Neville explains that a subtle sense of relief will follow if you do it correctly. This relief is not just a feeling, it is a confirmation that inner work is complete and done, and that the seed has been planted. The inner act of imagining with full intensity is the creative act. The outer world must now respond, because the law which cannot fail. And this is the essence of manifestation. You assemble the mental state, you feel the end as real, and you release it. The creation is finished the moment your imagination achieves the intensity and relief. And the rest, the unfolding in your life, is simply the natural reflection of what you have already accomplished within. So Neville closes this lecture, The Game of Life, with a simple yet profound summary and the clearest teaching on how to master the game of life. So Neville tells us, number 1, know exactly what you want. Be clear about your goal, your desire, your destination. Clarity is the starting point of all creation. Number 2, assume the feeling of wish fulfilled. Don't wait for the circumstances to change. Step into reality of your desire right now. Live as though it is already true. Number 3, persist in that mode. Hold the inner state steadily, even when the reason and the senses seems to deny it right now. Persistence is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. Number 4, never violate the law through negative assumption. Avoid thoughts of lack, maybe complaint or limitations, because your inner state is the seed from which your outer life grows. Number 5, trust your imaginal act is returning. Once you have imagined it with intensity, release it. The law of life is already in motion. The creative process is unfolding whether you see it or not. So Neville summarizes this very beautifully. Your consciousness is the lamp. Your mood is the command. And your imagination is the creative power. And the world, all of it, is compelled to obey your inner state. And this is the game of life. Once you know the rules, you understand the law, and consistently apply it, you're no longer at the mercy of your circumstances. Instead, you become the conscious creator of your reality, shaping the world from inside to out. Now, coming to the concrete rules of life, as what Neville Goddard teaches us. Rule number 1, begin at the end. Whatever you desire, assume you already have received it. Your end state is the starting point. You do not move towards your desire, you move from it. Rule number 2. Nothing you think is private. Even in your thought, do not curse the king. It simply means your inner speech is always broadcasting. Every mood is a message, every thought is a seed. Your world is your echo. Rule number 3. Your mood creates your fortune. Mood comes first, then comes the fortune. Life does not change your mood changes your life. Rule number 4. Assume the feeling of wish fulfilled. Not wishing, not hoping, not trying, assuming. Step into the version of you who already has it. Persist in that state until it hardens into fact. Rule number 5. Imagination is the creative act. What you do in imagination is more powerful than anything you do physically. Because the consciousness creates reality, imagination always wins in front of effort. Rule number 6. Misuse has a penalty. The same law that blesses you will also create consequences. If you misuse imagination, maybe complaining, resenting, fearing, or cursing, there are also assumptions. You will reap what you imagine. Rule number 7. Assemble your mental state. Your inner world is a puzzle. You assemble the final picture first. The mood, the scene, the certainty. Life then rearranges the pieces, and the outer world is the result of your inner assembly. Rule number 8. Cast your bread upon the waters. Every imaginal act returns, not when you expect, not how you expect, but exactly according to the state you held. Persist and it must come back. Rule number 9. Consciousness is the only referee. There is no external judge. No universe is testing you. No God is punishing you. Your consciousness alone decides the outcome. As within, so without. Rule number 10. The last rule. You are the lamp that lights your world. Your state lights your path. Your imagination shapes your destiny. Your assumption creates your reality. And you are the operant power. And that is the essence of game of life. The rules, the law, and the power that lies within your own imagination. Now that you know how your inner world shapes your outer world, there's a way to go even deeper in this study. So if you truly want to understand the law at its core and learn how to apply the rules of life to manifest your desired reality in 2026, then join me in my 2026 Reality Architect series. In this series, I will guide you step by step from imagining the life you desire to feeling it as it's already real, to seeing it manifest in your own world. The rules stay the same, but the results, they are extraordinary. So if you're ready to stop playing life by chance or start creating your life as what you desire, this series is your blueprint. So let's design your 2026 together from inside out.